Okay, so I'm out here practicing today and I'm going to talk about aiming. So I'm on a forum called Olympic Archery, something like that on Facebook. And one of the members puts up a question about aiming, and he said that my coach said not to aim at the target. Now my response to that was like, who's this person? What are they talking about? Then he come back to me and said, well, both of them, I've got two coaches and they're both ex-Olympians. Now I don't know who they are, but now if you don't understand what your coach is saying, ask questions. Because for me, I see that, I'm going, well, what are you talking about? Now I've heard this before with people like Larry Wise saying it's not important to aim at the target. Now if I aim in the 8, if my sight pin's in the 8 when I shoot, that's where my arrow is going to go unless I make a bad shot, and then it's going to go somewhere randomly. So my whole thing is about my pin has to be in the middle, and then I've got to execute a good shot. It doesn't matter if it's recurve or with the compound, it's the same deal. It's all about repetition, producing a good shot and putting that pin in the middle. So I'm just going to take a shot. So this is just me practicing, so it's just volumes and volumes of arrows. So now when I practice, I get into my normal focus on the target, and now what I'm doing is I'm focusing on my technique. I focus on my grip, and I'm focusing on keeping this shoulder low, and I'm focusing on my back tension between my shoulders, and basically pulling this arm straight the way back. So then I'm looking for my hand to come back. So I'm focusing on my technique. So what I think the coach is saying when they say don't aim is what they're saying is the archer is spending too much time focusing on whether their pin is in the middle and not enough time focusing on their technique. So some coaches will say you've got to get your shot off in 3 seconds. They'll say, look how fast the Koreans shoot. Now you'll see me in some of my shoots in the nationals, I sit there aiming for ages. Now that's because I'm not in the middle of the target. It's because I'm shaking around and I'm obviously not comfortable. Now the more I practice, the steadier I become, so the quicker I can get my shot off. So when I practice, I'm not really worried about the timing. In fact, I take probably too long. But for me, I'm trying to build strength in my back. I'm trying to build muscles. So actually, for me, aiming a long period of time, it's not an issue at all, because when I come to a competition, if I can get the shot off quick, I'm not fatiguing. So the whole thing with me aiming for a long period of time while I'm practicing, it's building muscles. And that's what I need to do. So for me, for my purpose, aiming a long time is fine for what I do, which is practicing, shooting the arrow at the target. But if your coach is seeing you shoot and you're sitting there wobbling around the place and trying to get your shot off, what he's saying is don't worry about that, worry about your technique. And even though you see me aiming, I am still worrying about my technique. Every shot, I am feeling the shot. So I'm loading my arrow the same. I'm getting my feet in the right, getting my balance correct. I'm getting my finger tab on the string at the same position. I'm getting my grip to feel good, the same as it did before. I'm checking my hand placement. I'm now aiming the target. I'm pulling back. Feeling the muscles between my shoulder blades. I'm trying to keep this shoulder down. And then when that shot comes off, I'm trying to keep this hand nice and close to my face, so this basically looks like that when it comes back. That's what I'm trying to achieve. So when a coach says don't aim, a beginner or an archer is going to go, well, I just get the shot off. It's probably, I'm going to say it's probably the wrong words, and the way people speak sometimes you've got to kind of, when I say you've got to understand, what they're saying is concentrate more on your form, and your form will do your aiming. Now, your form doesn't do your aiming. What your form will do is it'll make it easier for you to aim and get everything more stable so you can aim better. But when you're shaking around the target, that's just to do with practice. The more you practice, the more stable you be on the target, and the quicker you can get your shot off. If you see Larry Wise's video, he says, look, don't aim, don't worry about aiming. It'll all happen through your back tension. Now, I don't know, I've coached a lot of people and I spend a lot of time shooting. I've been shooting for 35 years. Now, back tension, release aids, hinge release aids, whatever you want to call this thing. These were developed, they've been developed for years, because when you're shooting a compound, you're aiming. The whole time you're aiming, you're thinking, when do I shoot, when do I shoot, when do I shoot? And you get to a stage where you become punchy with your release aid. So you're punching it off, you're going, yes, that's about right. Now with this release aid, it goes off, I'm going to say, by surprise. So I don't know when it's going to go off. Sometimes it'll go off when I'm aiming in the 8, and that's going to be an 8. I just hope most of the time it goes off, it's while I'm aimed in the middle. So even though I'm aiming in the 10 the whole entire time, then I'm still going through the same process I go through with the recurve. I get my hand grip correct, I aim at the target, I come back, I have my anchor point, the string touching my nose, the string touching my face, my hand locked into my jaw here, and then it's follow through. So I am aiming, I'm trying to keep my pin in the middle of the target. Now I can't because my hand moves around. But I'm trying to keep it there as long as I can, and I'm hoping that when this trigger goes off, I'm aimed in the middle of the target. Now that time I wasn't. I can't even remember where it was because it was a second ago, but I think I was 3 o'clock at the 9, I think, when it went off. I just heard the rattle from the stabilizer coming loose. Now when you shoot a recurve and you get the clicker that goes off, you shoot when you hear the clicker. So you're not thinking about when to shoot. As soon as that clicker clicks, you shoot. Now I can shoot with people who can shoot literally 2 arrows to my 1 with the compound, and probably the same with the recurve. I'm generally last off the shooting line, but that's the way I shoot. I've tried to rush shots, and I'm just not steady. But I become more steady the more I practice. The more I practice, the quicker my pin becomes steady on the target. So with a recurve, you're often aiming, you're hoping that click is going to click. Same as this, you're aiming in the 10 and you're hoping this is going to go off while you're aiming the 10. With a recurve, you're aiming, waiting for the click to indicate that you can shoot that shot. And sometimes people will collapse that shot, or they'll have trouble getting it through, and they force it and their shoulders lifting, and that's where it's important to get the technique correct. So to sum it up, while people say don't aim, unless you put that pin in the middle of the 10, it's not going to go in the 10. But the most important thing is practice, getting everything spot on so you can repeat it, and the more you practice, the steadier you'll become. Now my problem with shooting, one of many, my problem is when I shoot a bow like a longbow or a hunting recurve, because then I don't actually know where I'm going to aim. I don't know when I release, I don't know my draw length. When I shoot a clicker on the recurve, it tells me when to shoot. When I shoot this, it goes off. But when I shoot a longbow or a hunting recurve without sights, it's instinctive archery. I find it very hard after shooting it for a long period of time, knowing where to aim, how to aim, and what I'm doing wrong. And that's why I find shooting sighted target archery much easier than shooting instinctive archery. Now, your accuracy is obviously much better with target archery, but I find I don't know what I'm doing wrong with instinctive archery compared to the target side of archery. It's just repetition. This is much easier for me to know what I'm doing wrong. So that's my summary of aiming and the whole concept of not aiming, as some people will put it. It's basically work hard and you will become steady. 2 days ago, my recurve, I was wobbling all over the place. Like, I couldn't even keep my sight pin in the gold. Today I'm pretty good, like it's pretty steady, but I've been shooting every night because I knew how bad I've been shooting. So gets back to practice. Thanks for watching. Enjoy it, and the more you shoot, the better you'll shoot. Thanks, bye.